everyone, and welcome to a new politics video. Today we're gonna talk about the random regular villager phenomenon. I don't know, it's not a phenomenon. Anyway, we are gonna talk about particularly the random regular villager. You also got random strong villager, the random werewolf, and the random. Maybe that's gonna be for another video, but today we are gonna focus on random regular villager. So to start things off, we are going to talk about the random regular villager. I'm gonna explain it now. The random regular villager, basically, yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory, is a random regular villager. This means that if there's a random regular villager in the game, you can be one of 13 villagers, and that's also a bit depending on the, on what other roles you also got in the role in the game. Well, things like a seer. If you don't have a seer, you cannot have a seer apprentice, but that's maybe the only limited role. So yeah, at the moment there are 3 random regular villagers in ranked. If you have 60 players, yeah, the 16th role here is the random regular villager. So that means if you have 15 people or less, you probably have 2 or even less random regular villagers. But in this case, in the most common game, you got probably 16 players, so 3 random regular villagers, and you also got one in the sandbox mode, which is pretty cool. And in my opinion, the addition of random regular villagers is pretty good. There are I got many arguments for that, or many reasons for that. That's better to say. The first thing is that it offers some variety to a game. You know, if you have 3 regular villagers, then yeah, that's not a possibility in ranked. But yeah, if you have that, you don't have a lot of things in the game. But if you have something like the grumpy grandma, suddenly you can really change the game, you know. And things like many protectors is gonna make it really difficult for the werewolves, etc. So yeah, there's a lot of variety. It's also a good way for werewolves to escape, since in ranked there are 3 of them, so it's relatively easy to claim this, and it can also be a safe claim in the first case. Then since it's random, there will be different balances as well. So yeah, if you have 3 weaker of the random villagers, then you will have a worse balance in the game than if you got 3 stronger ones. Then yeah, I think everyone agrees on this, but the rare roles are nice to play, and in particularly the rare villager roles. If you become a grumpy grandma or a pacifist or a witch, I don't know, then yeah, it's pretty nice to play that. Definitely if no one knows that you are actually a thing in the game. And it also brings surprises in the game, like end game, if you did not reveal yourself, or the mayor can, if you were suspicious and you turn out to be mayor, it is gonna be a real surprise. And that's also a thing that improves the gameplay, of course. And as you can see, here's a list of all the 13 RVs, or it's just, yeah, I just put them randomly, or not completely randomly, but I put them randomly on the sheet. And as you can see, those are the 13 roles. We got the RRC, we got the Seer Apprentice, which I have to say something about. That's namely that the Seer Apprentice can only be in a game in which the Seer is there as well, because a Seer Apprentice has, actually needs a Seer to become a Seer. So yeah, without Seer you wanna have a Seer Apprentice. Then we got the Doctor, the Beast Hunter, the Bodyguard, Tough Guy, Witch, Villager, Pacifist, Mayor, Grumpy Grandma, Avenger, and the Priest. And now I'm gonna categorize those 4 roles those 13 roles into 4 categories. The first category is this checker category. This means that, yeah, the checker category is actually a category with all roles that can check an else at night. And in this category, in case of those random regular villagers, we have the Seer Apprentice and the Aura Seer. But if we take a look at the broader aspect in the village, we also got the Seer and the Detective in this category. Then we got the random regular villager. Second category, those are the protectors. In this case, I called the Doctor, the Beast Hunter, the Bodyguard, the Tough Guy, and the Witch as a protector. But of course, some of them are overlapping and can, of course, be placed in another category as well. Then the third category is the killing category. I think many people consider those categories in the game, and these are in general the Avenger and the Priest, and on the brothers back we also got the Jailer and the Gunner, but the Jailer can also function as a protector, as I have told you in the second politics video about the strongest protectors, of course. Yeah, you can also check that one out. And then we have the fourth category, which is not always recognized as a fourth category, but this is what I call fourth category. It's namely the voting roles. Basically, the villager is nothing else, but he can, of course, he has a vote, so he can add voting power. Then we got a pacifist who can really, they can prevent a voting session once and also reveal a role. We got the mayor, which has double votes, and we got a grumpy grandma who can exclude someone from voting for 1 day. So yeah, 4 categories, and of course, as I mentioned before, there is overlap. You can, for example, consider the pacifist as a checker as well. It's not like they can really check at night, but since they can reveal a role, yeah, you can consider them as a checker. I'd rather consider the pacifist as a 4th category, namely the voting roles. Then we have the witch, which can be considered as a killing role. The tough guy can also be considered as a checking role, since they will get to know a werewolf or a killer once they got attacked. We got the beast hunter, which can werewolf, so can also count in the killer category. Now I'm going to talk about game structure. In a balanced game, a village has 10 villagers, 4 werewolves, a solo role, like an arsonist, a serial killer or a bomber, and a voting role, which means a fool and a headhunter. In this video, I'm going to talk mainly about the village side. The village side has, as mentioned earlier, 10 villagers. These can be categorized in their main function, the categories I talked about earlier. In order to eliminate mischiefs, the village needs someone who can check others' roles. Because these roles are not appreciated by the mischiefs, they will try to eliminate the checkers, which was the first category. If a village wants to prevent that from happening, they will need a protector, which can protect the checker. This means that the second role is a protector. But since it's hard to prove that you were the protector, the werewolves, killer and even fool will try to claim that role, so that they can postpone their own death when they got checked. In order to prevent the fool from getting away with a fake doctor claim and thus being voted, once the real doctor dies, a person from the third category, the village killers, is necessary. On top of that, the village might not have enough speed with killing the mischiefs. Definitely not if the werewolves are not found early. The village needs extra kill power in order to have a bigger chance of eliminating the bad guys in time. The village also needs a bullet in order to eliminate the fool, since the werewolves and killer are not likely to do that for the village, and the fool might even support the werewolves or killer later on. This all together made me set up a basic village structure that you can see on the pink screen. And this one consists of 3 roles: a checker, a protector and a killer for the village. In order to have a serious chance of winning, the village will actually need 2 of these structures. If the village has 3 of these full structures, I consider it as a perfect village. The 10th role to consider is the medium. The medium is actually a special case. It doesn't belong to any category and can thus be considered as a 5th category on its own, or just a separate role. The medium is there to restore one of the structures once. On top of that, in the average game, the medium will be able to revive someone and can thus be considered as a double life. That's also why the werewolves actually have a double kill when they kill the medium before a revival has been done. If we take a look at the screen, we see 3 circles. These circles represent the structures. As you can see, in this case I took ranked Pro tier zone. The first structure is complete with a checker, which is the Overseer, the Protector, the Doctor, and a Killer, the Gunner. The second circle has a Killer, namely the Jailer, and a Checker, the Detective, but lacks a Protector. There are no second Protectors in the average game. Like you always have a Doctor, but you're not guaranteed to have a second Protector. This means that a first Protector as RRV is crucial. If you don't have an RRV Protector, it's gonna be hard, but I can already say that the Werewolves and Serial Killer will probably have a kill every night. Yeah, maybe there's one exception, but yeah, they will have a lot of kills. In the Utopian third circle, only the Killer, the Priest, is present in the standard game. The other two are empty, and since I took the ranked Pro tiers as example, the second RRV has to be an extra RRV. Yeah, there cannot be a Seer Apprentice, so it has to be an RRV. The last spot in this circle is for the last RRV, which should be an extra Protector in this example. Of course, if you have 3 Protectors, 3 Checkers and 3 Killers, you will be able to find the werewolves really quick. You will be able to kill them, and the werewolves will have a hard time, and the killers will, with actually killing people at night, since there are 3 Protectors in the game. As add-on, I want to mention that the 4th category is less necessary than the others. This because the village should already have enough voting power. Yeah, the 4th category was the voting category, and the Grumpy Grandma doesn't make difference too often. The mayor is only a real use in mid and late game, since in the beginning it doesn't need voting power and can even be targeted for the werewolves. In mid and late game it might be necessary because the villagers are already known and the village just needs to eliminate, but they have a lot of mischiefs against them, which means that the voting power can equal, and then you will need a mayor in order to win the voting actually. And the pacifist has a lot of disadvantages in my opinion, because it takes away 1 kill power and is only useful. Yeah, this actually grants the mischiefs an advantage. It's actually only useful when there's dispute late game, like 2 people are claiming a medium role. That's what I think the 15th episode of ranked series on my channel was such a good example for this. But if the pacifist reveals someone, so yeah, they can know who the real medium is, it takes away 1 kill power for the village, which means that the killer gets an extra night, and that means that it can already be decided in that way. So a pacifist can of course solve disputes, but it will take away kill power when it's pretty necessary to have the kill power. The villager, as last, is not adding any ability to the village, which makes him useless anyway. The only good thing for the 4th category is that most of these roles can prove themselves easily. A mayor can literally reveal himself. A pacifist can reveal fake claims in case it's played well, like it's not revealed too early. And yeah, I would always recommend that you are going to announce that you are going to reveal someone, otherwise everyone can claim pacifist. A grumpy grandma can mute fake claimers and thus prove themselves right, and the villager, yeah, they don't have anything to prove themselves. Now it's time for some results. As told earlier, the village will absolutely need a protector as RRV. Looking at the first protector, namely the doctor, we don't really need someone with infinite protection like the doctor, but someone who is there for some extra protection. To be honest, I would go with the bodyguard, since they can protect themselves, and you don't need infinite protection. On top of that, if there's a second doctor, there might be a dispute because 2 people are doctor, they don't trust each other, and yeah, that may be a bad thing for the village. A tough guy would also fit well. Then, for the utopian third structure. In the first place, it needs an extra checker. Since checkers are important and wanted kills by the mischiefs, a third checker is always welcome. In case the detective and natural or Razir, natural is the first Razir, will survive for some time and a third source of information is not necessary, I would rather go for the Grumpy Grandma. In my opinion, this is the best amongst the voting rules and a fourth protector is not necessary. Then, for the final spot, I choose another protector to complete the third structure. In this case, a protector with an extra ability, because the bodyguard and the doctor are pure there for protecting, would be nice. Since the killer in this structure, the priest, is a relatively weak killer, they can only kill werewolves, they have a chance of killing themselves, I'd love a witch for this third RRV spot. A role that can both protect and kill once, to support the doctor and the tough guy or the bodyguard, and to support the priest in case he misuses his water. My conclusion is that the witch, bodyguard and overseer would fit the 3 RRV spots the best. In case there is an overseer, a tough guy is not really needed for extra information. The witch could support the priest and replace the beast hunter. An overseer might be really important as RRV as well in order to get extra information, but in some games it's not really necessary. But now it's your time. What do you think is the best combination of RRVs in the current ranked pro tier zone or just the regular zone? What RRV is your favorite and what do you think about the RRV spot in Sandbox? Which RRV is best there? Leave it down in the comment section down below. Anyway, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed this politics video. I hope you learned something and I hope I got you thinking about this. Please leave a like, subscribe and check out the playlist on my channel. If you have your thoughts on this video or on the politics videos in general, leave them down in the comment section as well. You can also join the Hypohood Discord server. We talk about those dilemmas there as well, and there's more stuff there as well. You can also add me on Werewolf Online. My in-game name is Hypostein and my clan is Hypoclan. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you later and don't be a traitor. Goodbye.